all inundated with influencers trying to influence us about our health and well-being. I don't want to influence you. I want to inform you. Hi, beautiful self-aware brain. I'm Michael Cummings, Silicon Valley software designer turned certified nutrition counselor, so I can help people more physiologically than I ever could digitally. So here we are, 2026, deep up to our eyeballs in the social influencer oversaturation age. The slightest hint of behavioral interest in something on one of the social advertising platforms, and it decides this must be our new content crush, right? So it just feeds us more and more of it, no matter what. Imagine for a moment if the algorithms were actually responsible for our physical nutrition, how unhealthy we would be. Personally, I'd be on a strict chocolate chip cookie diet, morning, noon, and night. I'd love it for a little while, but you know how it goes. Too much dopamine, not enough nutrition. It's the same with the social platforms. And the health and wellness industry feeds on the attention economy, which, I'll be honest, is great for business, but it isn't really what's best or healthiest for us. And that's why we're here. That's what I'm here for. And then there are the conflicting recommendations. Thousands of supplement brands leverage influencers presenting themselves as a regular person. In e-commerce, we call this UGC, user-generated content, so that we can't tell a person's personal recommendation from a brand's paid ad. Ad AI-generated UGC, AI-generated, user-generated. It can't be both. And we're up to our knees, if not our eyeballs, in something. I'm not saying what, it's just definitely smelly. But either way, they say, here's what really works. And then the next one says, well, here's what science says works. And we kind of buy it. But oftentimes they don't even show us the science behind it, the science-backed supplement that they're pushing, recommending, influencing us to buy. The next 100 or so are slight variations on this theme, like I have the answer, implying others don't, but their answers are often different, begging the question, who's right? If there were one simple answer, one size-fits-all solution for what optimizes brain health and cognitive performance for everyone everywhere, we would all know it by now. And we just do that. But that's not where we are, and for good reason. There is no silver bullet, no one-size-fits-all for brain and cognitive enhancement, any more than there is for diet and exercise. Human bodies have a lot in common, and we can generalize a little bit, but we're also as complex as the environments we come from, as far back as our amazing genetic diversity goes. And that complexity leads to sometimes subtle, sometimes very consequential differences. What works for you might not work for me, and vice versa. In other words, we shouldn't overgeneralize. The problem is the algorithms, the social influencer economy that we're all a part of, forces us to overgeneralize. So I kind of don't blame the influencers here, but that's why I'm here to kind of set the record straight as best I can. We're told over and over what works as if that's that, despite the variety of supplements recommended to improve the same things: focus, attention, memory, flow, and so on. What I did is I took a step back to gather some data. Might just help us filter the noise to find some meaningful signal here. Now, little disclaimer, initially I'd planned to provide you a summary of all the top 5 channels on every platform recommending brain health supplements. Instagram and TikTok weren't really that helpful in this. I do plan to fire up the APIs and services or Python scripts or whatever for that. I do love doing the research, in case that wasn't clear yet, but I will do that some other time, so stay tuned. Meanwhile, I can share things for the top 2 channels the majority of us use for supplement recommendations and whatever, wellness information. We use websites primarily. YouTube web search actually still beats out YouTube by volume across the whole demographic, 18 to 80-year-old range. And if you want, you can nerd out on the demographic breakdown in the BrainHealth.news newsletter. The link is in the description, so please, by all means, go check that out. What I did was research and list the top 7 health websites and top 7 YouTube channels but included only those who recommend brain health and cognitive enhancement supplements. Specifically, those that don't or didn't or haven't yet are excluded. For time, I also had to constrain the scope of research to the top 5 posts or videos for each website. If you'd like a more exhaustive version of this research, let me know in the comments, please. I would love to do it, but I just need a little, let's call it a little encouragement in the comments. In any case, after normalizing the supplement names, because sometimes the same compound goes by a different name, so I had to kind of normalize the names things went by first. But what we ended up with was these 23 cognitive enhancement supplements. Omega-3 is recommended by 13 of the 14 resources. Think about that. The top web and YouTube gurus inundate us with, here's what works according to science, but only one supplement is recommended by all of them. And I think that says something. It says they all agree that omega-3s are fundamental to brain health. The rest are sort of dealer's choice. The only web source I included here that doesn't recommend omega-3s is actually the best one, examine.com. It's for clinical practitioners specifically, and it's only missing because I only included their memory and focus supplement guide in my research. Memory and focus involve cognitive enhancement, not just brain health. But our focus here this week is cognitive enhancement. So let's start by subtracting supplements primarily for long-term brain health and neuroprotection from our list. These in turn fall into 2 subcategories, direct and indirect cognitive enhancement supplements, with the number of times each is mentioned across all 14 YouTube and web sources in parentheses. I don't want anybody to misunderstand the visual here. These are not all cognitive enhancement supplements. They're not even ones I'm recommending. Again, they're just ones recommended by the top web and YouTube sources, by subscribers for YouTube channels and traffic for websites. And there's something really interesting about the top 6 shown here on the left. The most frequently recommended one, Alpha GPC, and the least frequently recommended one, Huperzine A, have something in common. Do you know what it is? If so, please share in the comments. If you don't know, subscribe now to find out in the next video. Michael Cummings for Brain Health News saying, stay active, eat fresh foods, and keep your self-aware brain beautiful.